Well, this is how some people are seeing American foreign and domestic policy right now. A little rude, I would say, as of course is not far from reality, especially with the latest information coming from the sting operation against predators in our society, as it looks like one of them is let go and now has had meetings with the FBI and NSA, as there's no criminal charge. Wait, what in the world's going on? Is we have some very crazy breaking news surrounding a story that a lot of people are reporting very strange behavior with, especially when it comes to conservative media that is a little allergic to this story. I wonder why. All of this is the U.S. State Department actually released a very bewildering statement about this, that people are saying, wait, hold on. There's a lot of weird things here, as we have some breaking news from Breaking Points that really does highlight the absolutely weird type of scenario and situation that we are in right now, as it looks like the situation will only get worse after record numbers of people came out to the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem protesting the current leadership. It looks like the current leadership is still moving forward with their major military operation, which even some high-ranking government Israeli members are saying, yeah, we're going to lose the hostages, but this war is going to be worth it. What? I thought this war was about the hostages. A lot of very different, bewildering messages, as of course domestically a lot of people are looking at the current policy, the current decision, and saying, man, this is some weird stuff to say the least here. And guess what? It's only going to get weirder. If you appreciate our ballsy conversations about this particular issue, as some vast majority of the conservative media is too afraid to mention it, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate you guys supporting our efforts here to talk about stories, even though they're extremely controversial. We're not afraid of the controversy, as of course I think the story matters, especially with the weird type of circumstances surrounding the story of Tom Alexandrovich, who was here for a black hat hacking event in Las Vegas, Nevada, where he was now meeting, as we found out, with FBI and NSA officials from the U.S. government, as he was the acting head of the data and AI at Israel's National Cyber Directorate. A lot of people say he was working directly under Bibi Netanyahu, and he was arrested in a federal child predation sting operation where he was trying to get and have illicit relationships with a 15-year-old, according to the report here. As now we're finding out that he escaped and returned to Israel and probably will never face any type of justice surrounding his actions, as of course the 7 other people, because it was eight people who got caught here, 7 other people facing charges and will be held accountable for, quote, luring a child with a computer for an adult act, which is a very serious felony under Nevada law. Now, after being detained, Alexandrovich was released on $10,000 bail and allowed, this is the weird part, allowed to free to Israel, where he will remain and is likely not to be extradited here. As a lot of people are saying, you know, this story is kind of strange here. What are the details surrounding this particular story? As of course, this federal government, especially Pam Bondi and the DOJ, are taking a lot of things seriously, like alleged actions of shoving that happened against a Jewish student at a college, and sandwich throwing, which they're viewing very seriously. As right now, we're getting also a lot of weird government statements of them lying about what was going on here. And I think Breaking Points did a great job highlighting all the information. Just a few 2 days ago, actually, they released this, which I think brings the story in perfect hindsight of the seriousness of all of this.
Whatever, he can litigate that in court, but he is here to meet with the NSA and with the FBI. Now, remember, they say that he was not here. He did not claim diplomatic immunity or anything. That is what is indicated currently in the arrest record, at least so far from what
he is being treated like he does have diplomatic immunity. A lot of people are like, well, no, he has diplomatic immunity. He shouldn't face any charges. And there are people who have diplomatic immunity from all over the world that do come here domestically and do violate the law, do hurt American citizens. And there's many of such cases. And because they have diplomatic immunity, they're just kind of sent back. It happens a lot in New York, where you see a lot of diplomatic plates. If you have a car that hits you with diplomatic plates, you're kind of screwed. If you have them run you over, you're screwed. But diplomatic immunity, I think, is a little ridiculous, in my own personal opinion here, as of course it allows people to skirt the laws here pretty extensively.
we have seen, but it is obviously made clear that Alexandrovich immediately is identified as an Israeli national, as Israeli government employee.
And then he automatically contacts the Israeli consulate immediately. And then he's allowed to flee. Now, the transcript of what happened here, wild. Absolutely just wild and crazy stuff. Now, before playing the rest of that clip and getting into this now new Israeli push for foreign military recruitment in order to propel their future military actions that they're going to be waging on a bunch of people, we wanted to tell you about WeAreChange.shop, one of the great shops out there with a lot of really awesome, great, incredible products. One of them you're going to need after watching this YouTube channel, and that, of course, is TakeCalm.com. You go here. I don't know why my team made it so you have to, oh, there we go. So you're just on there. We're low on stock with this particular item, but this is an item that I have here on my desk. I used to have this everywhere, and I remember I was like, I want the best stuff out there. I don't want the cheap stuff. I don't want the seed oil stuff. I don't want the stuff from China. I don't want the stuff from Latin America. I don't want the stuff that doesn't have trusted ingredients. I want the stuff that actually works. This stuff really works. It's full spectrum, 1,000 milligram hemp extract, and this stuff did it for me. Listen, when I was dealing with problems of anxiety and panic attacks, I was like, I don't know what's going on. But then I would experiment with different kind of supplements trying to get myself better. The real way you get better is you unwind all the bad behaviors that led up to you having anxiety. That takes a long time. So I look for cheats. I was like, okay, I need something now. Okay, I can't take years of exercise, diet, proper sleep in order to resolve this issue slowly. I want it out. One of the things that helped me with it automatically was CBD. So I made sure to source it from the best quality farms in America. This product is made, produced, manufactured, packaged here in America. And it's really an incredible product that I give to a lot of my friends who deal with anxiety, panic attacks, who just feel a little bit uneasy. I give them this. There's also some really crazy new studies highlighting how CBD works great, especially when it comes to and again, this is what a study says. I'm not saying this is what this product is going to do. There's highlighting how it helps prevent a lot of mouth and throat cancers. That's what new studies are saying. I'm not saying this product will cure this and that. You got to be careful when talking about this stuff. All I could say is this stuff helps me out a lot. It helps out my friends. I give it to my mom. I give it to a lot of other people who are like on edge and freaking out all the time. And I'm like, you got to relax. You got to calm down. Let's introduce healthy diet, exercise, sleep, and meditation into your life. And here's the cheat sheet for me, and that's what I use. We have it here available on TakeCalm.com. So get it while supplies last. We're low on stock. I can't recommend this stuff enough. All on TakeCalm.com. Now, let's get back to this particular video here, as Breaking Point really does a wonderful job condensing and syncing everything together to make perfect sense here.
All of this is very important because right now, every single other person who has been arrested in this sting operation has a criminal complaint filed against them. Now, as of right now that I'm speaking to all of you, keep in mind, this is late at night here on Monday. There has not yet been a criminal complaint filed against Alexandrovich, which is very questionable given the...
As he's gone. He's not even in the United States anymore. He's back in Israel, and he was put on leave. Put on leave? Excuse me? You get caught trying to bring a 15-year-old allegedly back to your room, right? Now, Alexandrovich, in his police interview, was like, I thought she was 18. And again, you hear this all the time. Listen, the Nevada sting operation here, I just don't see it happening here, okay?
Circumstances. He does have a court date appearance on August 27th. Obviously, we don't know yet if he's going to return from Israel to face charges, but this
he probably won't.
This is an extraordinary report that I'm really happy to be able to bring to all of you. So again, just thank you for
so very wild, crazy stories. People are asking, why did this happen? As Sean Ryan says, we just let him go back home? ? Yep, because that's the current American way. As he reports the time of Israel. Senior Israeli cyber official detained in Las Vegas as part of a child solicitation probe here. As now we're finding out that the U.S. Attorney for Nevada is a Trump-appointed Israeli-born official named Sigal Chattah. As it was her office that decided to, quote, according to the AF Post, not prosecute the Israeli child predator suspect. Now, again, he has a court appearance ticket, but the fact that Breaking Point's reported there's no other kind of action here being followed up like there are with the other 7 individuals caught up here highlights an extremely awkward, weird situation where people are asking some serious questions like, what in the world's going on here? As people are saying this is very odd here, as the 7 other individuals are charged with federal child sting and are being prosecuted by their office. As now we're finding out that Chattah has actually deactivated her X account, as there was a lot of public backlash against her. As people are saying, this is what Mindy F. and Robinson is saying, quote, she deactivated her account because it was all pro-Palestinian genocide. Quote, she's also a B in person, according to Mindy Robinson, who I think she's also in Vegas. So I think she understands this. But now we're getting a lot of memes. We're getting a lot of people talking about this story. As people are saying, she posted this on her personal account before taking it private a few hours ago, saying, quote, if I had to fight for one or the other, I'd fight for Israel. Best line in history of, quote, the show here. As a lot of people here have a lot of different particular responses to this, especially a lot of people bringing parallels to the Jeffrey Epstein saga. As Mike Cernovich says, it gets even more deeper here. As he says, quote, was conservative media told they couldn't talk about that arrest in Las Vegas? Definitely revealing to see the silence by certain people and outlets on one of the most newsworthy stories of the week. Yeah, it's pretty newsworthy, especially with all the weirdness surrounding this. As Colin Rugg says, no one would even know about the story if it weren't for Twitter. Wild. Cernovich says, all those big-mouthed conservative podcasts suddenly got a case of the quiets. Yeah, kind of weird. Kind of weird and wild story here. As a lot of people are too afraid to criticize the Israeli government. And I think that's wild. And I think that's weird. Now, a lot of people are being lumped in with a lot of just crazy people by doing that. And I think a lot of people also just want to avoid that. But that shouldn't allow a whole entire country, a whole entire government that, by the way, has been given a blank check by this administration and has been doing a lot of outrageous things, in my opinion. The Israeli people aren't happy with the Israeli government. Are those voices also crazy? No, they're not. I think people need to have courage here to speak out and not be little weasels. I think that's just the situation in case here. And, you know, if I'm going to get punished for representing and criticizing legitimate things we need to criticize, let the chips fall where they may. I'm ready for it. And I've been through the ringer before. I've been through it. I've had a lot of things trying to silence me, trying to set me up. Arrests, detentions, interrogations, jail sentences, extortion, physically attacked, threats, phone calls. I've dealt with all that. Demonetizations, downrankings, the destruction of my platform, destruction of my ability to even reach people. I've done it all. I'm not afraid. And I'm not going to be afraid to actually talk about legitimate important stories. As the U.S. State Department, their Near Eastern affairs even released a statement about this, saying that the State Department is aware that Tom Alexandrovich, an Israeli citizen, was arrested in Las Vegas and was given a court date for charges related for solicitation. He did not claim diplomatic immunity and was released by a state judge, pending a court date. Any claims that the U.S. government intervenes are false. And then people are saying, I'm saying, why is he gone then? We have Janine Yonas saying, I was a criminal defense attorney for many years and never saw a foreign individual arrested and charged for soliciting S from a minor, released on bail, and not had his passport seized. This is not believable. Yeah, as of course the charges in Nevada are very serious, and the federal government takes them very seriously. As a lot of people are saying, then why don't you demand his extradition back to the United States where he could face justice? A lot of people are saying effing bullshit. People are saying this is a great example of being factual but not truthful. Clint Russell, I don't believe this for a second. And if it is true, that state judge should be arrested. Yeah, that state judge acted a little weird here. As right now people are saying, you throw a sandwich, you'll be charged with a felony and fired from your job. You still shouldn't throw sandwiches at federal officials. That's just pretty dumb. Don't throw sandwiches. Okay? There was like a little shoving angry incident between a student, and that student had the FBI DOJ on her and investigated her and like went after her. That to me is ridiculous. Okay, I don't think the parallels of throwing a sandwich at federal agents is the same as this. But you could see the priorities here from Pam Bondi here, who, by the way, still has criminal referrals to arrest the past administration, previous administration members that aggressed against Donald Trump on our desk, as well as the Epstein files list that have never been released. As people are saying, this is probably related and correlated. You could see her making a statement out of a guy who threw a sandwich and being very silent about this guy who, again, should be extradited, who probably will not show up to his court date. We'll see what happens here, but a lot of people are going to be paying attention to the story, and I think this is why Bibi Netanyahu literally called for more censorship online. Why? Because this story is extremely inconvenient for those in power, for the power structure, for all the people saying this is weird, this is strange, this doesn't add up, this doesn't make your sense. And of course, him calling for censorship is something that is being pushed on and incentivized and acted upon by the Trump administration and their DOJ that now is very allergic to any type of criticism against this foreign government, which we are putting out all the stops from, protecting from criticism.
It's very hard to fight the deception, the lies, the starved children, the pictures of starved children who turn out to have cerebral palsy or other congenital diseases that leave them emaciated. And Israel is, of course, accused of starving children.
Now, those are probably rare cases here. You're arguing, no one's being starved here. That's a ridiculous notion that even Donald Trump counteracted. It's only Bibi and Charlie Kirk saying, no one's starving here. Donald Trump is like, yeah, people are starving. It's devastating. It's horrible what's happening there. Donald J. Trump. Why is Bibi contradicting Donald J. Trump now? And going against what the president of the United States said. Once again, Donald Trump said, hey, Bibi, publicly, do not bomb Iran. Bibi said, we're going to go bomb Iran one more time. And he did.
Pretty much the way that in the Middle Ages, Jews were accused of killing Christian children for their blood. So, what do you do against the lie that circles the earth 10 times before the truth has a chance to emerge? You have to shorten the war as speedily as possible. And frankly, we also have to do something about the algorithms and the social networks. This is a big challenge. I don't want to dismiss it.
Yeah, we have to do something. We have to destroy people's ability to see news that is not comfortable for those in power. That's essentially what he's saying, in my own personal opinion. This is wild. This is just bewildering. This is crazy. And again, you got to understand, he's saying this publicly because there's going to be some actions that they're going to be taking specifically against you and your ability to be able to see a lot of stuff and talk about this stuff. Now, yes, there's some crazy people that just hate people for the way that they were born. Okay, doesn't mean you got to lump in any kind of legitimate criticism with that against that. That's not unfair, number one. Two, people are always going to lie. And then, listen, there are some people that lie about Bibi and the Israeli government, and there's a lot of fake news propaganda. But there's also a lot of fake news and propaganda from their side. Okay? So why are we hyper-focusing only on one side here? As clearly there's a lot of disinformation, a lot of propaganda, a lot of warmongering, lots of insanity from all sides of the issue here. Now, the Israelis want to have control of the narrative. Why? Because we're getting reports that they have already began their assault on Gaza City, and they're in the initial stages of this action, which is going to be very serious here. As now, we're also getting reports that the Israeli military is considering recruitment in the United States against their significant soldier shortage. Why? Because they're going to be going with the war that's going to be in Syria, that's going to be in Iran, and they need more people. And now they're going to be recruiting people from the United States, from France, as they're trying to face and deal with their shortage of 10,000 to 12,000 troops here. As of course, the more troops that they have here, the more offensive type of military actions they could take here. Again, Israel is a small country. They have a very small population comparatively to the region that they're in. And if you're planning long, extensive military operations, you need a lot more troops here. And now they're going to be recruiting. Now they need to control the narrative, because the more of these stories that pop up, the more people are like, wait, I don't want to join a force that lies about starving people. I don't want to join a force that allows predators to try to hurt American children and allows them to get away with it. And this is why dialogue, conversation matters. And I think we should try to have as honest one as we can. And if you thought I did that, share this video. I can't thank you guys enough for subscribing. Definitely check out the CBD. Really great stuff. TakeCalm.com. Can't recommend it enough. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more beautiful and amazing human beings here on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.